No, 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 no.
Hello there, lovely viewers. What is up? Max from Text and Fiction, with another video. A while back, I made a video about Chloe from Failure Parents, but apparently while that video was being made, another controversy about Butch Hartman came up. So I'm going to touch a bit on that soon. Now you click this video, which means you may or may not know what the cartoon in the thumbnail is all about. So this is what I'm going to do here. First, I'm going to review the Imaginating shorts that Butch Hartman and the YouTube channel Nogue Network released. From there, I'll talk about the controversy surrounding it, especially the original concept, what had happened, and what became the final product. Then I'll finally give my personal thoughts on it. So with that said, let's start with the short.
The name's Nathan Bibble. I have one friend, Susie, but sometimes she used to talk to an imaginary friend, Dooz. She said he was real, as if.
Okay, Dooz, one more tower. You were right, Dooz. I love you.
So weird. But one day, something happened. When I woke up, I could suddenly see every kid's imaginary friend.
Hold up, you're telling me that is an imaginary friend? You're saying this is an imaginary friend that this kid thought into existence is an imaginary friend. I get that animation is expensive, but come on, just look at this, just look at it.
I call them figments. I have files on them. Some figments know when it's time to leave. But some thought they could stay forever. Sorry, those aren't the rules.
I see what's going on here. Kind of emo, but your man Daddy Phantom. Yeah. I'll get to that soon.
If you've got an imaginary friend who won't leave, give me a call. My name is
Nathan! How's the, jar collection going?
Fine, Dad. Watch it, pal. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. This isn't the first time I saw this video, but it's still funny and a little sad to watch this again. You likely caught something from this short, because this show, if it ever comes to become an actual show, is a somewhat blend of Danny Phantom and Failure Parents. We have Danny, Nathan, who got into an accident that got him a special power. Then there's the Gozo, Imagination, where these imaginations come from, and now it's his job to send these otherworldly beings back to where they came from. So obviously the animation is very similar to Failure Parents, to the point that you can pretty much put in the early seasons Timmy Turner in there. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad idea to take inspirations from those two shows and make an entirely new show. Barely anything is totally original these days. But my problem is with the so-called imaginary friends and the controversies that surrounds this cartoon. Everyone on Earth has pretty much been a kid in their life. So can you really tell me that these blobs are the best that those kids could come up with? So yeah, I give this short 3 out of 10. The concept sounds good and the animation is fine in YouTube standards. But that's really the only good things about it. The voiceover, it's just bad. Now, I know I'm not one to talk since I'm not really great at voiceovers, but honestly the kid's voice sounds like he's bored or really tired after a long day at school. The imaginary friends look more like monsters than actual creatures that kids would come up with. Meanwhile, the main character's emo personality has been overdone so much that it really doesn't add much to him. And then there's the controversy behind this so-called upcoming show. So let me give you a refresher for those who aren't aware of the current situation. Butch Hartman has been involved in some pretty bad stuff, from joking about Timmy Turner's original voice actor's suicide to using his religion as a shield to defend himself. It just goes to show that this man isn't this inspiration that many of us once thought of him as. Now, I'm not going to talk about those stuff since you can pretty much look for them. But if you want a good dive into it, I've linked a fellow YouTuber's video on it in the description. Just know that he has no idea that I did this. I want to focus more on Imaginating, specifically the controversy surrounding it. As some of you may or may not know, Butch Hartman has this streaming service which is called Oaxis, which became the biggest controversy about him at the time since it involved manipulation, deception, and lack of transparency. From what I know, Imaginating is supposed to be one of the shows that will be on this streaming service. So here's where Kovo the artist comes in. He's a really talented fan of both Ben 10 and Danny Phantom. So no surprise, sometime while working on the crossover comic 5 years later, he caught the attention of Butch Hartman. Great, who wouldn't want to work with the man behind their childhood cartoons? I know I would, if it wasn't Butch Hartman. Now, I could go into detail about what happened behind the scenes between Butch and Kovo. However, I really want to focus just on Imaginating alone. So, check out the description. I have another link to Kovo's video on the subject. But here's the summary. Butch Hartman hired Kovo to make a 5-minute video on Imaginating. No, not the one you just watched. I'm talking about this. However, due to the backlash surrounding that streaming service I mentioned, Kovo was told to put the video on hold and that a representative of Butch would get to him. But that never happened. And when Kovo tried to reach them to get some of the money for the work he has done so far, there was this back and forth between him and the rep, which basically summarized down to the fact that they didn't really want to pay him. A lot happened behind the scenes, but that batches off a bit further from Imaginating. So click the link in the description when you're done watching this video. So you can tell by this that the controversy behind Imaginating is pretty intense. The idea for the show was changed at least twice. You can tell from the two animations that I showed you. One of them is more of the Fairly Odd Parents vibe, while the other one, which Kovo made, had the serious vibe to it. Butch Hartman has admitted about 2 years ago that Imaginating was supposed to be more anime-centered, but obviously there were changes, with one of them actually being a bootleg of the Fairly Odd Parents pilot, according to a tweet by Kovo. So in the end, this was the result we got, which is kind of sad. As some of you might know, I love anime, and the idea Butch actually had for the show was way better than what we eventually got here. So what do I think about the whole thing? Personally, I think Butch has shattered what I used to think of him. From what I've seen, it seems that he's manipulative, egocentric, and someone who believes more in himself than anyone else except God. And even then, it doesn't help that he uses Christianity a lot as some kind of shield against criticism, which bothers me because I'm a Christian too. I love Christ, I love to pray to God too. As for Imaginating, I personally would have loved the anime-centered version. Sure, the final product is somewhat okay, but really the whole imaginary friends needs to be worked on. It's not like Butch is watching this. Everyone who knows about him knows just how much he thinks about criticism on him. He basically thinks he's just above such, which is really dumb. If he's above criticism, then what does that say about higher people like actors, directors, and so on that have done more than him and have taken criticism to better themselves? Is it saying he's better than them despite just making 2 great shows and 2 okay ones? If you kept close tabs on his social media, you'll know that he's heavily criticized on both Twitter and YouTube. So really the only place he gets positivity from other fans is on Facebook. And let's be real, who really uses Facebook these days? Heck, if you look at Butch Hartman's YouTube channel view count, you can see that despite the fact that he has nearly 1 million subscribers, nearly every one of his videos can't even hit the 100,000 view count, and even when it does, it rarely happens. So, before I end this video, I just want to state this clear. If you don't like Butch Hartman, fine, I'm okay with that. If you love the guy, then that's fine by me too. I just don't think anyone should now hate or dislike Danny Phantom or Fairly Odd Parents because of the creator. I watched these shows without knowing who Butch Hartman was, and I will still watch them despite what the creator has done so far. And so that's where I end this video. So what do you think about the whole controversy? Put your thoughts in the comments down below. Please be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell. It will mean a lot. And please share the video. Thank you for watching. This is Mac from Facts and Fiction, and I'll see you next time.